Hi, my name is Runa, and welcome to the first of what I hope becomes a series of challenge run videos. Now, fair warning, I'm not going to be doing anything overly ambitious. I'm not going to be beating Dark Souls with a dead fish and a switchboard. Instead, I'll be playing with restrictions that I personally feel make the game fun differently. Take Doom, for example. The glory kill is fun. It's fun to lay an imp over a rail with a well-placed kick. But glory kills also reliably drop health. And in a game where your health is constantly being heckled by something, refusing to glory kill can start to feel like you're making a clerical error. And clerical errors should not be a consideration you're having while playing Doom. And neither, frankly, should long introductions. Can you beat Doom 2016 without glory killing anything? Ah, Jesus, I feel like a temple got dropped on my head. Well, while Doomguy gets dressed, let me explain why that didn't count. For the purposes of this run, any action that plays an animation that leaves something dead is considered a glory kill. With a few major, and I hope understandable exceptions, this means no chainsaw, no berserk power-up. Other power-ups should be fine, but as a general rule, I tend to avoid them. Next, gunplay is completely unrestricted. This includes mods, and the BFG. Because lastly, I'm playing on Nightmare difficulty, and I need everything I've got to survive.
We have to contain this.
My helmet fit as snugly as ever, which was some consolation for when I realized the Wi-Fi was down. Thankfully, Samuel Hayden from Comcast was there to help, and with him in my earpiece and a 12 gauge in hand, I set off for the Resource Ops satellite. Oh, there's demons. Surely this doesn't have anything to do with Comcast. I did some light cleaning, agitated the blob, sent myself skittering across the room like a curling stone, and made it through the first monster closet in the game. With health to spare and a full bandolier, I was feeling pretty optimistic. Just make sure you don't get too comfortable. It took me a few attempts to get used to that rarefied Mars air, but I made it to my spare key and spare grenade. I made small talk with the locals, and unlocked my first weapon mod, the explosive shot. I could see burst fire being useful for thicker hides, but I have my reasons. I left the gulch I was in more red than when I started, wiped my feet before I went inside, and then went inside. And that's level 1 done. Not too bad. I do have a few more things to clarify though. One, the hawk-eyed among you will have noticed that bodies aren't dissolving the way they normally do. And that's because I have the Keep the Dead mod installed, link in the description, makes the game more fun. Second, I'm not going to be showing every time I scavenge the battlefield for scrap metal to glue to my suit, but rest assured I do, and you should too. Samuel's much more tech-literate son, Vega, joined the conference call.
Main power offline.
Ah shit, the power too? I brought red-hot, high-velocity light to the forces of darkness, and pressed the power button to turn the power back on. Grandma? Why is Grandma evil? God damn it. Well, at least this doesn't have anything to do with Comcast. With the power back on, I descended into the seedy underbelly of the facility. Ugh, nice. More demons? No problems. Just line them up and shoot. A chainsaw! One problem. Useless. I stuffed it in my wallet and forgot about it. My footwork was pretty decent, but not quite enough. Oh, that's kind of embarrassing. GG though. Thankfully, I know how to take a lesson to heart. But there's always a new problem, and this time it's a flimsy chicken wire gate. It didn't take too long to find the key though, and nothing eventful happened. Look at that, he was so close.
Access granted.
And speaking of close, I took some Windex intravenously, which gave me just the edge I needed to fight my way to the satellite console.
I'm blocking your access to the facility scanner.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that easy, would it? As I fought my way through yet another rogues gallery of vaguely human abominations, it occurred to me that something might be systemically wrong. And those suspicions were confirmed in a layoff presentation that really could have been an email. Turns out Grandma's been engaging in corporate espionage, and is definitely the only reason that Comcast is dealing in devilry and magics. I have to stop her, and with an advance payment of a ball full of pouch, I set off to bless this mess, and that's level 2 done. But before I take care of the moat and Meemaw's eye, I first have to take care of the beam and my own. Somebody set the foundry to heavy duty instead of delicates, and if I don't take care of it, we'll all die. Unfortunately, this means I have more cleaning to do, and unfortunate is the word. I had to redo a platforming section, which was okay because I found a weapon mod I missed, and just in time for me to make the almighty mistake of choosing micro missiles over a scope. It pops ammo like chiclets in exchange for damage I was going to be getting anyway. Well, I still have 3 guns, so I'm sure I'll be okay. I crossed to the other side of the facility and picked up another ball. I pulled a real gut-buster prank on a Hell Knight, and found a plasma rifle just sitting there.
Stay focused, stay committed.
Aw, thank you. With 4 guns now, I more or less walked to the next keycard. And I kept walking through 2 gore nests directly into molten metal. Good lesson to learn, you're always your own greatest hurdle. I now had access to the turbine room, and got killed again at long last. And twice at that. And again. But with perseverance and a light snack, you'll always win 100% of the 25% of battles that you do win. With the foundry cooled, I'm back in pursuit of Grammy Olivia. Samuel informed me she's siphoning power to charge the EV she's going to be driving directly into hell. For this delicate work, I upgraded my shotgun and picked up the vacuum rune so I could drink my enemy's blood from further away. Whew, this should help out. It didn't. To be fair to the rocket launcher, it was mostly my fault. And hey, the micro missiles did come in handy. And I forgot I had a plasma rifle. For the next glorious 10 minutes, I didn't die once. I took care of a gore nest, found the shining star of this run, made paste out of the next gore nest, another ball, and some hapless imps. I think this run's getting to my head a little bit. At any rate, I temporarily disabled the first energy filter, added some fertilizer to the hydroponics lab, got a special tool that'll come in handy later. Samuel did his level best to convince me that turning red into blue isn't abominable, but somebody has to make these hard calls like not stepping out of your own blast zone. Great job, Runa. I was a little more thorough the second time around, by which I mean I reached the gore nest at all, and by this point in the level I was thoroughly whelmed. I have 2 long guns, 3 discrete explosives, a shotgun, and a blunderbuss. The third energy filter may as well have disabled itself. Samuel begged and groveled. I blinked and practically missed a new enemy type, and made certain that red stays red. While I was restoring the natural order of things, however, Olivia blew up my only path to the Argent Tower. So now, unfortunately, I have to double jump. I know what's coming too. So I upgrade my super shotgun's reload speed, and unlock lock-on burst for my launcher. And just in time. I thank the Revenant for a lesson well kept, and clear the room for my thruster boots. Before I head outside though, I unlock the only other rune I'll be using this run. Ammo Boost. Does what it says on the tin, and is going to make my life that much easier as soon as I unlock a few more runes for the slot. Oh boy, sure wish I had some optical upgrades for a certain high-powered rifle. Even though I practically had to throw rocks to do it, I made it across the pipeline. I also unlocked Heat Blast, which, isn't that important. Grandma has a bomb now. Or at least I assume it's a bomb, I wasn't really listening. She took the elevator too fast, so my only recourse now is to climb the tower. A few steps in, I gypped myself per usual. I hung back the second time and let my firepower do the talking. It turns out distance is helpful when you can't glory kill. That little stumble out of the way, I headed into the tower proper. Resupplied, didn't get squashed. Mancubus is here now, no comment. Against my own expectations, I managed to survive the first interior encounter, which didn't last further up, but this is about the point in the run where things really start to flow. I can double jump, I'm ridiculously well armed, so as long as I don't get greedy and I keep my composure, I can reliably finish encounters with only 1 or 2 deaths. In fact, just 1 death between me and the top of the tower. The only really noteworthy thing is that I found a hologram. I didn't know that this tool was in Doom. I've been playing this for years. That kind of myopathy is probably why I didn't grab Grandma when she was within arm's reach, condemning myself to a Category 69 dimensional event with enough concussive force to send me directly into hell. I'm pissed. I ignored Samuel's storied trek through hell. Found some stupid gun. Looks cool though. Made sure to dot my I's with hearts when I said hello to the demons. I'm not quite sure whether it was hell or me that made it rain so much blood. Oh, the keys are skulls, that's cute. I slipped off of my own severed torso, which is actually pretty funny in hell. Oh, big surprise, I won again. Oh, the buttons are skulls too, eh? Get new material. Oh, what are you doing here? I continued being disrespectful to the children. At some point, the blue skull stuck to my shoe. You ever think about the name Cacodemon? It has the word cack in it, which means poop to me. Get new material. Hey, rush in and die, fair enough. May I have another? I found my first Baron of Hell and introduced him to his new barony lying flat on the ground. They really will just make anyone a Baron these days. Well, I became the Baron of Platforming, and cut short a special Mancubus's bloodline. And how about I become the Baron of Splash Damage too? I beat the level and it's back to Mars. Samuel made sure I was okay. He's such a sweetie pie. I'm okay, even though the shit poop fart demons followed me back from hell. Even though the rift between our worlds is now fully open and demons are piling out of it like a clown car, there's hope in the form of Satan's Rosetta Stone. Apparently my name is on it, and it's only an 80-kilometer jaunt away. My super shotgun and multiple potato cannons make heavy demons a joke. I took a moment to preen and stretch my legs and make some rune progress. My first crop of pinkies may as well have taken my gun from me and shot themselves, but don't let that fool you, they are going to be a problem. I prepared for the trials ahead by upgrading my super shotgun. One of the pinkies has the owner of the bus pass I need, as if I needed another reason to revile them. I patiently shot and scavenged my way through and around the facility in pursuit of the pinky. My mother taught me to clean as I go, and to always look out for dust bunnies. The pinky I was after did actually manage to kill itself before I could get to it, which sounds like someone I know who now has the pass he needs to take the tram to the Lazarus facility. The demons were kind of just milling around when I got there, no big issue. I improved my ammo capacity one more time, did some mopping up, and reached my first problem encounter, by which I mean I died 4 times instead of 0. Well, 3 technically if you don't count the usual. The problem with this fight was mostly that it was a confined space, so if you're smart with your exits and use the right guns for the right demons, you'll make it through just fine, even if you do wind up running into a berserk power-up you can't use with 1 health left. I made it to Samuel's office, where he installed Fortnite on my suit without my consent. You're lucky you're hot, Samuel. Here's a tip for the boys. Make sure you're a good listener, especially on your first date. Sammy Bear admitted he admires my relationship with guns, and told me he has a big one he thinks I can holster. So I stood him up and went looking for it. Back outside, I had to contend with the cyber mancubus, and there he goes. I entered the big gun facility through the ventilation shaft, missed another opportunity to upgrade my scope. I cannot believe myself. The big gun area proper was shocking. I helped this kind man with the retinal scanner, saw a cutting-edge laser deterrent system in action, and got my hands on a rather large gun. Damn. I didn't use it and lost, and then I did use it and won. And, thoroughly satisfied, I descended into the Lazarus facility. This is where things take a darker turn. The next encounter was madness, which is what the BFG was for, but I can't take all the fun out of it. And anyhow, if I use it now, I can't use it later, and that would be stupid, right? And the problem was really just the sheer number of lesser enemies. Keep up the pressure and use splash damage whenever you can, and you'll pull through. Especially if you unlocked the heavy assault rifle scope beforehand instead of immediately after. The next fight was difficult for the same reason, but by this point I was well warmed up. I even managed to kill myself. I was starting to feel left out. With the Dark Science wing now well unsullied, I neglected to use the BFG in the Use the BFG room. No matter, we made it to Grandma's private chambers. I raided her drawers, activated the rock, saw a vision of Satan's toothpick, and knew exactly what I must do. I took this knowledge to my grave a few times. Hell yeah, you see that airtime? I escaped through Grandma's private meat funnel, and passed through blood-drenched corridors where entrails mingled with severed cabling on my way back to the first encounter area. I used the BFG this time, and there was no further incident. Our plan now is to get back into hell for the toothpick, and in order to do that I will need my own of what I'll continue to assume is a bomb. Oh, the game's being very generous, I wonder why. Lucky for me, this will just be an average hardest difficulty fight. Bosses constantly shed ammo and drop health when they're staggered. Glory kills are only relevant to these fights insofar as you have to perform them in order to beat the fight at all, so I failed. For this sin, I was sent back to hell. The cyber demon was resurrected at his prime, and I died thrice. Nothing the BFG can't help with, though. This is about reasonably having fun, after all. The other half of the cyber demon's brain would probably agree. I pushed on to Titan's Realm. Got Vord. This game has everything. There's some dingleberries down here, but that has long since stopped being a problem. I curb stomped through yet another encounter, picked up the siphon grenade, which at this point kind of feels like overkill. The next fight was more of the same. I picked up a quad damage power-up by mistake, which gave me an opportunity to stroll around and restock. I remembered very late that I have weapon upgrade points to spend. To be honest, I was having so much fun I forgot that was an option. I enjoyed a nice shooting gallery with my upgraded scope. Found a nifty yellow skull attached to a booby trap that was so bad I'm not even going to dignify it with time on screen, and entered the hell sewer. I made stinky with the demons down there, and made a bit of progress too. Sneezed on a few mancubi, you know, the works. Just about got by some sewer gators, which is about as bad as it got until the gators turned invisible. I'm a little astonished it took until the last fight in the level to die, and even without the BFG it was only a few times. I'm getting really close to the end of the game, so maybe this is as bad as it gets? If I haven't said it already, welcome to hell. This next level brutalized me. To unlock the way to the Crucible, I'm going to need 2 keys. The first key wasn't so bad. I died twice, but mostly because I wasn't moving enough in a confined space. The second key was, in addition to having to fight off an entire book club of mancubi, I have to account for leading shots from imps, and a constant missile barrage from revenants. Once again, the BFG would have been very useful here if I wasn't stuck on doing it the right way, but eventually my fingers were nimble enough and my decisions quick enough to reach the second key. And thank God, hope that doesn't set a new tone for the run. Back in the main tower, I fed the keys into their respective slots and had a consolation fight where I didn't die once. I took a moment to improve myself, and then made some real progress again. Feels good. I helped some demons kill some demons and then killed the demons. Experienced a genuine miracle, and prepared myself for the next boss. The Hellguard's first phase is an entirely different beast than the Cyber Demon. Not only are its attacks more varied and difficult to dodge, it's invulnerable unless it's attacking, which is not only annoying, but also, unfortunately, foreshadowing. But as long as you keep laying in with the super shotgun and keep moving and observing, you too can fail the run for a second time. And it has never felt so good. Oh, but did you forget about Phase 2 where his little brothers show up? Mercifully, they aren't invulnerable at any point, which for whatever reason makes the fight much more satisfying. I really hope they iterate on that. This has always been my least favorite fight, but after what I've been through, I ate their lunch in record time. Samuel pulled me back to the polar regions of Mars, where the UAC has been running a Bitcoin mining operation. Given red to blue energy conversion has recently been disabled, we need to scavenge all 2.5 gigaflops of his power in order to open a portal to the source of the invasion. I entered through the front door, and got to work disabling Vega's security systems. He promised I would survive the surge, but he may have oversold it. Even though the demons in this fight are restrained for so late in the game, the room itself is cramped and over-relies on platforming. This makes it very easy to be surprised by a fireball or a lost soul, which, need I remind you, translates to your entire unarmored health bar. I eventually remembered that I have a special tool for occasions like this, a trump card if you would, my innately perfect spatial awareness and snap decision making. With Vega's security system finally down, I moved into the threshold before his core. I was almost surprised by a pair of pinkies. Almost. And since I was feeling very charitable, I cleaned the scum from around the elevator bay. And now, at last, we've arrived. Even though we all agreed what had to be done, it still hurt like hell to hurt my best friend. I disabled Vega's coolant systems on my first try, which feels like a cruel joke, like it was always meant to be. His core is in an adjoining facility, a short tram ride away. Once there, I realized I'd run out of rockets, panicked, and died, which honestly is no more than I deserve. But I can't let my emotions get in the way of his sacrifice. State that I'm in, I can't even humor the pinkies, poor things. It's moments like these where I question my decision to allow the BFG for this run, but you can't deny those results. It brings satisfaction to a work I take no pleasure in doing, and that's valuable. With the room tenderized, I finish the fight. Now the only thing between me and Vega is a long, contemplative elevator ride. I've killed hundreds of demons and died scores of times, but this waiting was the hardest part. When I arrived at his core, I was thankful I could at least look him in the metaphorical eyes while I disconnected his brain cells, and now Bitcoin no longer exists in this solar system. Considering Vega was the bomb, it makes sense that his death would send me back to hell. But before we both went, I made sure to back him up onto a flash disk, so his children could over-explain things to future generations of Doom guys. I don't think I need to introduce this place a third time. Before I entered the fray, I surveyed the area with my lovely tactical scope, which reminded me I'd never invested in the final upgrade before mastery. This means I just won't have a considerable source of damage for the final level, a problem I would not have had if I had just unlocked the scope first. Be better than me. Might behoove you to unlock the dexterity upgrade earlier too. The fact I made it so far with such terrible judgment, I think, is a credit to me. Oh, look over here. Isn't that funny? Keep the Dead mod, links in the description. Seeing as I'm at a handicap, my best advice for this fight is to just hang back where you enter the arena. Enemies will come to you and you can knock them down as they do. Witches expose the flaw in this tactic, but the moment I tried to leave my den, I died, which is something even Paleocene placental mammals understand, but not me. I only understand the sword. When Hell's forces loom large and threaten to drown me in my home, my gun looms fucking larger. Turns out there actually is an upper limit to the damage the BFG can do, which makes me feel a whole lot better. And better is how I need it to feel, because for something called the Well, it didn't go so good. That makes two of us. This last sequence plays like a final exam. The first arena is small and uneven, with terrible sightlines and canals harassed by pinkies. Remember when I said they'd be a problem? Well, the problem was on the test. Get fucked. I need to be constantly on the move, but I don't have the luxury of seeing demons coming. My advice is, if there's anything more sturdy than an imp on screen, your super shotgun should be out. Don't worry about ammo like I did. And don't be shy of using the BFG if you're cornered. There's plenty enough pain as it is. With that fight finally over, I licked my wounds, and helped an old saint with his pectus carinatum. Their pain is what sustains the well, and there's two more after him. I went in full hog with my super shotgun, but this second arena has, shall we say, a more urban emphasis. It's more open, there's more demons, and there's more projectiles. Damage can come so suddenly and from so many directions that it's often better to opt for range. And even the BFG is no guarantee of survival. Shame about the pinkies though, that hasn't changed. By now I'm using the BFG on suspicion of them. For every other heavy demon, the rocket launcher and Gauss cannon are enough, as evinced by this Baron of Hell who wasn't even in my postcode when he died. Another saved, saintly solar plexus later, I made it to the very last arena. In accordance with the law of threes, it's a hybrid of the last two. And surprise, it requires hybrid tactics. The first of which is loitering where you entered and letting enemies come to you. Using this tactic, I met the first Pinky I've ever had any respect for. Instead of charging at me and dying, he taunted me from a safe distance, which nearly got me killed by a Hell Knight. And no matter how I tried, I just could not seem to kill him. It took a stagger, a siphon, and a rocket to finish him off. Go on in peace, you magnificent bastard. In spite of this trouble, I nearly won on my first attempt, but not even the BFG could save me. Or maybe it was the BFG that doomed me, because a cyber mancubus I thought I killed me instead. Then, not even 2 minutes later, it was that Pinky. And if you squint your eyes, this one looks like it was the BFG, but it was actually just an imp on the wall. So close to the end, so fed up with death, and so late when I was recording this, I decided to use a forbidden technique. I fired the BFG twice consecutively and swept up the remains. With a minor chiropractic adjustment, the final saint is put to rest. There's only one person I know who could be so stricken by a good deed. Gram.
They promised me so much.
Well, I promised to make this quick. Although she's irredeemably tainted, she's still my grandma. I don't think I could ever have fully moved on from wringing her little gooseneck, so having her transform into a giant spider was a mercy for us both. She's a big, soft target, I've got big, hard ammo, and she even drops ammo for the BFG, so I've got a reliable source of healing. At no point in the fight was I at critical health, let alone dead. And it was at full health when I gave Grandma a bold new look to send her over the second hill. And that's it. My first challenge run failed. What a blast. Before I go, I have one more lesson for the boys though. Being rescued by dimensional tether and then restrained so a man can pick your pockets is considered a red flag. But the fact the toothpick was a sword and I didn't use it when I had the opportunity makes me question whether I deserve to have it at all. But you know what I do deserve?